What's up, Ride Warriors, and welcome back to another year of the Ride Warrior Choice Awards that will eventually lead us into the 2020 Thrilling 32. Danny, we've been doing this for quite some time. We are here tonight to talk about the voting process. Voting is now open in the 2019 Ride Warrior Choice Awards that will eventually lead into the 2020 Thrilling 32. So, Danny, you are the ballot expert. You are the voting expert, Mr. Democracy himself, if you will. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this year's rendition of the Ride Warrior Choice Awards?
That's right. So we'll be following a very similar style and format to last year. The voting will take place through an Excel spreadsheet again, and we will again emphasize that due to the complexity of the behind the scenes of the ballot, it is recommended to do the ballot on a computer of some sort, whether it's a laptop, a desktop computer of some sort. Do not export it into like Google Sheets. Google Sheets does not have the intelligence to do the coaster ranking portion of the rankings. If for whatever reason you absolutely cannot do Microsoft Excel, you can't find like a work computer or like a school computer or something that you can use for 30 to 40 minutes. It wouldn't even take that long if you do a short coaster ranking. If you rank more coasters, it might take closer to that. But if for whatever reason you absolutely cannot do Microsoft Excel, send me an email and we'll see if we can work something out for you. But the Excel sheet does make it very, very easy for us to calculate the results and also to make the brackets for the Thrilling 32 in such a way that Andy does not necessarily know what they are, so that much like last year, Andy can sort of play along and not know the results and maybe fill out his own bracket even this year, perhaps. And compete. I'm going to refrain from just to monitor and make sure everything's calculated the right way. I will still be monitoring the results and everything and making sure that everything is calculated correctly when we come out. But Andy might just partake in the Thrilling 32 himself this year. We have talked about that. So basically, here's how it works. Go to thrilling32.com. and click on the Vote Now banner, and you will be prompted to download the Excel ballot, the blank Excel ballot. If you're in the either the Facebook event or the Facebook group, it's also been posted in both of those locations, so you can download it directly from there. But the quickest way, if you're watching us right now, you can just go to thrilling32.com and click Vote Now, and you will be prompted to download the ballot. I don't know what page what tab it automatically opens to. I don't know what I saved it as, but there will be 5 tabs, the last 2 of which, Steel DB and Wood DB, you will not have access to. That is purely the behind-the-scenes intelligence of the coaster ranking dropdown, so you will not have to do anything on those. You will have a General tab, or an Awards tab, and then you will have a Wood tab and a Steel tab. The General Awards tab, very similar to previous years. You'll just go through, I believe there's 12 questions again this year like there were last year, some of which are the same, some of which are different and we've never had before, and others are questions that we've had in previous years but did not have the last year or two. So we've brought back a handful of questions that have been absent for a few years, such as favorite shooting and non-shooting dark ride, or 2 that have made a return this year. We haven't had those for a couple years. Those are very simple. Just place an X in the cell next to the option in which you wish to vote for. We have listed under some of them are just purely write-ins. Others we have provided a set of options based on either previous results from our historical polls or from other polls. You are not constrained to only vote for the options that are presented in front of you. There is, at the very end of each list, there is also an other. If you wish to write something in that is not given to you, all you do is put an X in the other box, and then in the other cell, just replace it with whatever you would like to vote for. It is that simple, and everything will be tabulated from there. And we've got some of the favorites like your favorite new ride from this past year, favorite amusement/theme park. And once again, we will be also asking you what your most anticipated ride for the upcoming season is, which is something else that we've done the last couple of years. So we have brought a return to that one. One change from previous years. Previously, we had asked for your favorite new ride overall, and we had included dark rides, flat rides, roller coasters. The favorite new ride category this year will not include the roller coasters, so please do not write in roller coasters. We will be determining the favorite new roller coaster from 2019 based on the coaster rankings tab now. Another well-known poll had some very controversial things happen this year where the favorite new roller coaster was actually ranked lower in their coaster rankings than other new roller coasters that opened in the same year. So they were very controversial in nature and actually very explicitly contradictory. So in order to avoid that, we are going to, from here on out, determine the favorite new roller coaster of each year by simply doing it through the roller coaster rankings. So that is how we will determine our favorite new roller coasters, and we will announce that separately after the coaster rankings come out and we do the Thrilling 32. We will make special note of the favorite new 2019 roller coaster. So the general awards work like that. It's very simple. It should take you all of about 5 or 10 minutes to do that tab. Then you go to the wood and steel coaster rankings. They both work exactly the same way, so I'll just explain the method once. You will do the same for both. At the top of the rankings list, right underneath the gray bar, there is a box that asks you to type in the number of roller coasters you've ridden. So on the wood tab, you put in how many wooden roller coasters you've ridden. On the steel tab, we ask you to type in how many steel roller coasters you've ridden. Please do not make up a number. Please give us as accurate a count as you can. These numbers will not be shared with anyone. They will only be seen by me, and they are purely to do the rankings calculations. Nobody's going to make fun of you if you have a low count, and nobody is going to bombard you with emails asking you for your opinions on rides that they haven't been on if you've been on a large number of rides. That's not how this works. It is purely for calculating the rankings. So once you input that number, you can rank up to 75 coasters in both wood and steel. You do not have to do a full 75. However, the more coasters you rank, the better our results are going to reflect the opinions of our voters. So don't just give us a number one coaster. Don't just give us a top 5. I would say top 10 to 15 is probably a minimum of what we like to see. There are people who do a full 75, and we greatly appreciate those people. And if you'd like to spend a little bit more time on this and do a full top 50 or top 60, 75, that is great. Those give us the best results possible. But certainly shoot for at least the top 15 or 20. I always argue, since 32 coasters make the bracket, some people say, well, I'll do the top 32, but maybe some rides that are in your top 40, top 50 might have a chance to get in, or might be right on the bubble, so you might want to have your say on those rides. So do as many as you can. Part of the reason we leave voting open until the end of the year is so that you have time to spend some time on this. If you can't do it all in one sitting for 45 minutes, you can do it bits and pieces. So please do as many coasters as you can for the rankings. It's very simple. There are 2 drop-down menus. There are dependent drop-downs. So when you get to the number 1 coaster, if I want to vote for Voyage as my number 1 wood coaster, I go to the park drop-down and I just scroll through and I find where it says Holiday World Wood. And once I select Holiday World Wood, the drop-down in the coaster menu will give me an option of Raven, Legend, or Voyage. And I would select Voyage. And then for number 2, if I wanted to do, say, my coaster rankings, Phoenix, I would find in the park drop-down Knoebel, I think it says Knoebel's Amusement Resort Wood. And then when I do the drop-down from the coaster, it will tell me either Flying Turns, Phoenix, or Twister. I'll select Phoenix, so on and so forth, all the way through. You'll do the same thing with Steel. They are alphabetical. The parks are listed alphabetical. The Steel tab will have Steel after the park name, and then you will see all the steel coasters from that park that you've selected. So you select the park first, and then once you select the park, the coaster dropdown will automatically default to give you all of the steel coasters that are at that park. We have not imported every roller coaster in existence into the database tab because it would just be way too much of an effort because I have to do all that manually. I've tried to capture as many common rides that we tend to see ridden and also some obscure ones that people at least plan to ride or in the future. They may not all be in there, or there may be a defunct ride that, because I did pull these from RCDB last year when I made this ballot, so there may be some defunct rides that are not on the drop-down lists. If you do not see a park or ride that you wish to rank, simply just type it in the next column over, which is a not listed column. And what happens when I go to input your ballot into the program that I've written, the program I will modify it in such a way that the program can read it and that coaster will be ranked. Actually, after we opened up voting, I noticed that we had Toverland from the Netherlands in the wood side because Troy has been around for many years, but we never actually had it in the steel one because they just built their wing coaster, which is really the first big steel coaster that they have. So for all of our friends who were on the Europe trip this year and rode Phoenix at Toverland, I know for a fact that one is not in the drop down this year because I didn't go back and add it. I didn't realize it was missing until I went to do my own after I posted the ballot. So Phoenix at Toverland is a good example of one that you will have to write in. I will modify the code so that it will be properly calculated and get a proper ranking when we do the ranking. So if something's not there, just write it in and we'll take care of it. That's all there is to it. If you're going to do a top 10, top 15, I would expect this to take 20 to 30 minutes maximum. All the lists generally are alphabetical. If you don't see a ride listed in a park, just scroll all the way up and down, make sure you don't see it. And if it's not there, just write it in and we'll take care of it. If you wish to spend a little bit more time and you're going to do a full 75 on both lists, like I tend to do, I would say you're looking more towards the 45 minutes, maybe to an hour mark. And if you're good with Excel, it might take a little bit less time, if not a little more time. But again, we're leaving voting open until New Year's. So you do have a month and a half here for those of you in school and work. You've got Thanksgiving and your Christmas and New Year's time off to spend some time on this. So you've got plenty of time to do it. If you have any issues or questions, just shoot me an email. Danny Miller at COASTER-net.com, and we will get you all squared away. When you're all done, resave the file. There's a XXX at the end of the file name. Replace that with your 3 initials, and then email it to voting@COASTER-net.com, and those will come to me, and I will put them in queue to have the calculator include your ballot when January 2nd or 3rd, whenever I get around to doing that. When that comes around, we'll put them all in and we'll see what they spit out.
Well, and you know, this is the second year that we're now using this exact ballot. And I think last year, a lot of the issues that we experienced came specifically from people not reading the instructions. I feel like I say this all day long too, at my job.
You probably do.
Any question that you have probably is answered in the instructions. There are vital things that you need to write down onto these ballots, especially the steel and wood ballots. When
you need to give a number.
Yeah.
You need to give a number, and if you don't have your exact count, I stressed this last year. If you don't have your exact count and you plan to vote in these awards year after year, it's worth your while to, even if you don't like to keep a count. For the purpose of these awards, it is very important to have an accurate number so we can do the calculation properly. So don't guess. Try your best to get us a real number, please.
And even if you estimate, but estimate within 5 to 10, not within 100. you know?
Right. I mean, if you've only been to Holiday World, Kentucky Kingdom, Cedar Point, and Kings Island, you can probably estimate that you've been on about, 10 or 12 wood coasters. Don't tell us you've been on 50, because if you only rank 10 wood coasters and number 10 is the Ghoster Coaster or Woodstock Express at Kings Island, we're probably going to figure out that you haven't been on 40. We do kind of look for that. I don't just dump these into a bucket. I do look at them. We actually have caught some people before giving us bogus rankings. So don't feel like you're going to pull one over on us. We're very good at figuring out if you're giving us falsified rankings. So don't think you're going to pull one over us. And that's not fun for anyone either. So give us a good count. Give us an honest ranking. Like I said, nobody's going to be sharing any of this information. It's going to be basically for my eyes only. No one's going to email you and make fun of you or ask you about all these obscure rides that you might have ridden that no one else has ridden. I'm not going to email anyone asking them about the Blackpool Pleasure Beach Wild Mouse, even though I never got to ride it. We're not going to do that. So give us a fair shake here. Give us an honest ballot, and in return, we will be giving you honest results, and we'll have a lot of fun with this come January, February, when it's time for the reveal of the winners of the Ride Warrior Choice Awards, and then the Thrilling 32 Bracket Challenge. That is always our favorite time of year. We have lots of fun with that every year as we kind of end. That's sort of our grand finale to the off season, is the Thrilling 32 right before the parks start to open back up. Give us an honest ranking and give us do a good job with these ballots, and we will continue to do all the fun stuff we do with the Thrilling 32.
Yeah, and we've got two champions right now. We've got Voyage and Steel Vengeance.
They're on the belt back there. I can
we
see
got the
them.
belt back there. We got the tickets, in hand. So we want to find out if they're going to be reigning champs for another calendar year, or if we're going to have a newcomer to the table. That maybe those side plates on the Thrilling 32 Championship belt need to be changed out a little bit. So we shall see, but that all depends on you. That depends on you voting and what actually happens in this poll. That we actually take, unlike other polls where we have the elitist vote, or they don't want your rankings, they don't want what your opinion is. We accept all comers.
Very true. That is something we didn't. That is something we didn't mention.
Millers to the Rob Doles, and even lower than that is the Brian Basses. We'll even accept his vote this time around.
We will. We will. That is very true. That is something that we always like.
Doubtful that he'll submit a ballot, but we will accept it if he does.
That is something that we typically like to emphasize, that we have not yet. This is for everyone. Anyone can vote. If you've been on 5 coasters, if you've been on 500 coasters, you can vote. Your say matters. I like to bring up the example of 3 years ago when Outlaw Run and Voyage were vying for the top spot in the wood poll, or maybe it was 4 years ago now. Outlaw Run and Voyage were the top 2 wood coasters, and literally they were so close that the very last 2 ballots that came in on the last night of voting, one switched it, and then the last one came in, and that switched it the other way. And that's how close it was. So we can truly say that every vote affects the rankings in some way. Maybe they don't all change what the number 1 coaster is, but every ranking has some sort of effect, and everyone has some sort of input when it comes to the way that these results come out. And that is something that we pride ourselves on, that literally every single vote does matter. And that's why we like to keep it open to everyone, because in our opinion, polls like this, if you're truly talking about the Ride Warriors Choice Awards, then all of our viewers here, the Ride Warriors, if you will, everyone should have a say. It's not Andy, myself, and 10 of our closest friends and that decide it, and it's not people who have only been to Europe. It's not people who have only been on over 500 roller coasters. That's not what we do here. It's open to everyone. So this is your chance. Everyone likes to complain about other polls and, oh, well, they only let certain people vote, or they only let certain people from certain clubs vote. There should be a poll for everyone. This is that poll. This is your chance to have a say in what coasters are best, and what coasters are the favorites, and what rides win what awards. So, this is your chance. You have about a month and a half. Like I said, any questions, Danny Miller at COASTER-net.com. Just send me an email if you have any problems, any questions. And when you're all done, send them to voting@coaster-net.com, and your voice will be heard.
Absolutely. So, as always, thank you for joining us here. We are excited about this poll. We are excited about the upcoming Thrilling 32, as we always are.
And thank you, everyone, for all the support. I mean, year after year, this is, let's see, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Is this the 9th year we were doing this? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is the eighth year that we've been doing this type of poll. It started out with just the coaster poll, and then we merged the Golden Loops and the coaster poll to form the Ride Warrior Choice Awards. But this is really the 8th year we've been doing something like this, and it's gotten better and better every year. And that's only because we have the great voters and the great viewers, and we've already got quite a few ballots submitted, and almost everyone is saying, here's my ballot. Thanks for putting this on every year. This is a lot of fun to watch, and I'm so glad I get to participate in this. We get so many nice messages like that. So, we thank everyone for participating and the support and the positive feedback on this, because we put a lot of work into it. I put a lot of work into the ballot, and Andy puts a lot of work into editing together all the shows and the Thrilling 32 and the music and all that stuff, and the slides with the brackets. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. So it's really nice to have a lot of support. So we thank everyone for that as well.
So, as always, I am Andy Robarchuk from Chicago, Illinois.
And Danny Miller this week from a hotel in Rochester, New York.
And don't forget to vote Raptor #1 in your Steel Coaster poll.
No, don't do that.
#1, as it should be.
Oh boy.
See you guys next time.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.